is meta. In fact, it is unbelievably meta. It is so meta that it addresses how meta it is, and then addresses that it's addressing how meta it is. This speech is so meta that by the end you will all have been asked to connect up your contacts for follow suggestions. It also has a cyclical structure, but more on that at the end. In case you don't know what it means for something to be meta, it's essentially when a piece of media is very self-aware. For example, a meta speech addressing how meta it is would probably be quite meta. And if that speech then addressed that it was addressing how meta it is, that would be even more meta. So now that we've got past the intro, this would probably be a good place for some rhetoric devices. I could use statistics, hyperboles, addressing the audience, maybe even a rule of 3. Well, I guess that's 4, isn't it? I mean, I probably don't need to address the audience, right, judges? Cool. I mean, anyway, addressing the audience only gives, on average, a 45% rise to their attention, whereas a good statistic or hyperbole could wake a tranquilized horse. Now, I wrote a short verse of a poem to go here. I understand that that might seem like quite a random choice, but I promise you, it is leading to a really stupid poem. So, a verse about a virtual world, where avatars interact but never grow old. You can buy and sell crypto or an NFT, or listen to speeches like this one by me. Is this virtual world the future, or was it just a fad? I really can't say. I'd make Zuckerberg mad. Now, I'd say that that was quite a self-aware verse of poetry about an online platform which Mark Zuckerberg created. I suppose you could even call it a metaverse. Okay, I told you it was stupid, okay? Now, to be honest with you, if I don't include this paragraph in my speech, it will end up being just over the 3-minute mark, and that's cutting it a little bit tight for me, so I'm going to include this paragraph for no purpose other than to fill the time. Maybe during this time I could utilize the space a bit better, walk around the stage. I could play around with vocal modulations. I could talk quite quietly, as if I'm letting you in on a secret. Or talk really loudly, as if I'm really passionate about what I'm talking about. Anyway, I think that's filled up enough time, so back to the main speech. Now, at this point, I would normally summarize what the point of the speech is. But to be honest with you, there isn't really a point to this speech. And maybe that's the point, that there doesn't always need to be a point to everything. Although, I suppose if that is the point to my speech, then there is a point to the speech, so my point doesn't really work. But if my point doesn't work, then there is no point to my speech, so it does... Hang on, I'm confused. Okay, so there's a point, and there's a point. There's a point. What's the point? Well, now that we've established that there is no point to my speech, or that there is a point to my speech, which is that there is no point to my speech, or that the real point is the friends we made along the way, I've got just 3 things left to say to you. Firstly, this speech has a cyclical structure, as I mentioned at the beginning. Also, alliteration always achieves applause among amazing audiences. Thank you. And finally, I'd like to leave you with a quick call to action. Hello? Is that action?